performed ablution, if I sense, have a feeling that I have unwanted hair, I remove those hairs. Alright. Once that is done, I pray 2 units. 2 units. And these 2 units is to elevate. One of the ideologies and the concept of performing these 2 units is that the Nabi of Allah says, As-salatu mi'rajul mu'min. That salat is the mi'raj. It is the ascension of a believer. So what we are doing is, it's amazing the ideology of this, that when we are starting to perform Umrah, I'm going to pray 2 rakat nafal, so my soul gives hazari in the court of Allah first. So my soul ascends into the court of Allah and enrolls itself to this ritual of Umrah, and then it returns back. Make sense? Right. So that is the ideology behind praying these 2 units. It is that the soul ascends. So that is the kayfiyat, the condition, the quality that you have to develop in those 2 units. Right? That is the concept behind it. In the first unit, it is advisable to recite Surah Kafirun. And in the second unit, it is advisable to recite Surah Ikhlas. Now, if you were to study the message, the gist of Kafirun and Ikhlas, the sum total is that Kafirun is a declaration that I am not a polytheist. That is the gist of Surah Kafirun. La a'budu ma ta'budun. I'm not going to worship what you worship. So you detach yourself from shirk. I'm not going to commit shirk. So that's in the first unit. In the second unit, you recite Surah Ikhlas. And Ikhlas lexically means purity. So it means that now I present my faith that is pure from polytheism. So these are the 2 surahs. This is the ideology behind it. Surah Kafirun and Surah Ikhlas, first and second unit. But I'm going to ask you, I'm going to stop at this junction. I'm going to ask you, has permissible become non-permissible yet? No. So I can cover my head. Because permissible has not become non-permissible yet. I've just established 2 units. I haven't made the intention yet. So the establishment of these 2 units, the removing of unwanted hair, the establishment of purity, external and internal, is outside the framework of Umrah. So now what? Yes.
What was the niyat of these 2?
I'm going to come to that. Niyat ki niyat. We're performing all this, and now we have prayed. Now comes the time to establish the intention. Now the intention is very simple. Now, before I go to the intention, I want to put your mind to ease. A lot of people ring me before going to Hajj, and they said, Imam Sahib, can you record the du'as? And they're trying to learn all these different du'as in Arabic. And they don't have a clue what it means. Now let me make this very clear. Du'a means supplication from the heart. So if one person, a lot of people, they come to revert, and the Imam will recite the creed of faith or the testimony of faith in Arabic. He will say ashhadu. He go, ashhadu. Allah. He doesn't know what he's saying. And he will make him go through that, and he doesn't understand. Acceptance of the religion is from the heart. He has to understand what he's committing to. Likewise, in the du'as, there should be not only words, mere words uttered, but there has to be a feeling with the du'a as well. I'm not advocating for those people that say that du'as in Arabic have no benefit. They are not significant. But I'm saying that our whole focus should not be on this, where we are dedicating countless hours in trying to place these du'as to memory, and then not even knowing what the meaning is. Inshallah, at the end, we will highlight a few du'as that are very basic and very broad, that can be applied at different stations in Umrah and different stations of Hajj as well. But what I will strongly advocate for is that the du'as that are made should be made in your own language. So you understand what you are saying. Now, indeed, if you read the books, there is a Arabic du'a for the intention of Hajj tamattu. I will move away from that. And I would like to translate that du'a so you understand what you are getting into. Because if you say it in English, still Allah understands. And if you say it in Arabic, still Allah understands. Indeed, there is one extra benefit in learning it in Arabic, because these were the exact words that the Nabi of Allah uttered. And there is barakat and nur in that as well. But if a person doesn't have that sharp memory, because we're not young now, we don't have that sharp memory, then don't lose your energy or exert your energy over this. And don't be too worried about it. All right. Now, the intention is very easy. When a person is performing Hajj tamattu, as the brothers and the sisters will be performing Hajj tamattu, at that time they will make the intention of Umrah. I'm going to perform Umrah. Back in the mind, they have this subtle intention that I'm going to perform Hajj after this. But at that certain time, he's making the intention of performing Umrah alone. Allahumma inni uridu al-Umrah. I'm making the intention of performing Umrah. Alright. Now, how many, now we're going to start the Umrah and we're going to talk about the Ihram, but I would like you to highlight in your book, because the brochure that we have given to you, the first page is in English, the remaining pages are all in Urdu. So, and this first page is made by myself, but you don't see the date, so the photocopy was not too good. Alright. But I would like you to only highlight the compulsory components of Umrah first of all. What is compulsory in Umrah? So if you perform these two compulsory components, your Umrah is done. What are those? To wear the Ihram. That's number one. And we will speak about what that defines, what that really means, to wear Ihram. That is compulsory in Umrah. And number two, to complete at least 4 circuits around the Kaaba. There's 7, at least 4. More than majority. More than this. These are the 2 compulsory components of Umrah. Done?
This is fine.
Farz. These 2 are farz. Keep that in mind. I want you to write that down. It's very important. So, number 1 is to wear the ihram is farz. And we're talking about Umrah. And number 2 is to establish 4 circuits out of 7 is farz. Now, implications of this. If a person doesn't wear the ihram and he performs all the other rituals of Umrah, his Umrah is invalid because it's a farz. One person performs everything pertaining to Umrah, but he only performs 3 circuits. His Umrah will be invalid. Make sense? What is wajib of Umrah? Wajib. Now what is the implication of wajib? If a person misses out upon it, there is still room to compensate for it. You don't have to become despondent immediately. So number 1, wajib of Umrah. Right, number 1, to complete the 7 circuits. To complete the 7 circuits. So 4 is farz. So there is any number below 4 will invalidate the Umrah. To complete 7 is wajib. Wajib.
Including the 4 parts.
Complete 7. 7 is wajib. Alright? What does that mean? If a person has completed 4 and he moves away, his Hajj is accepted. Hajj will be accepted. But if one person performs 5, he hasn't completed 7, he has completed the farz but he has missed out on the wajib. So whenever a person misses out on a wajib, there's a penalty. So anything less than 7, more than 4, anything less than 7 circuits, more than 4 circuits is deprivation of a wajib, and the deprivation of a wajib entails what? A dam. A person will have to pay a penalty. Make sense? You didn't understand?
You said it can be made up, and you're saying that it's...
Dam is the makeup. The penalty that you will pay is the makeup. So how do you make up for a wajib? You pay the dam. So keep in mind this word dam, penalty, is linked to missing out on a wajib. Dam is not linked to missing out on a farz. Now, dam, we will talk about it, that is, sacrificing of an animal. Second wajib of Umrah is sa'i, between Safa and Marwa. Sa'i, that walking between the two hilltops. Safa, inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'airillah. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah says, Safa and Marwa are the symbols of Allah. Symbols. So, walking through them is known as sa'i. And sa'i means kawish, juhd. It means an endeavor. Endeavor. So, sa'i between Safa and Marwa is the second one. So if one person doesn't perform sa'i, he misses out on it, don't have to become despondent, he can make up for this missed ritual by giving a dam. Number 3. Shaving of the hair or trimming it equally on all sides. So a lot of people now are fashionable, they don't want to shave their hair. Keep in mind, shaving the hair, you get complete reward. Leaving hair on your skull, you have acquitted yourself, freed yourself from the liability of the ihram, from the conditions of ihram, but you won't get complete reward. So I'm not going to emphasize too much upon this, because a lot of people say, I don't look nice, with no hair, so can I just trim the hair? You can, alright? But keep in mind, maybe once in a lifetime you'll have this opportunity, you're not going to get complete reward. Now people say, what is that complete reward? Wallahu a'lam, Allah knows better.
But if you don't have hair?
No, that's a good question. If you don't have hair, the scholars have still said, you have to get a razor and, over your head. You have to take the razor and you have to wipe it over your head. Yes?
So do you shave your head again after Hajj as well?
Yes.
So
if anything's left there. So what a lot of people do is, what we did is, that when we were performing Umrah, many of us, they cut their hair. So there was something left behind. And then in Hajj, they shaved their hair. So that's what a lot of people did. But when we consulted with the scholars there, and there were many eminent scholars there, they said, look, at the end of the day, we are only obliged based upon our capacity. So if you at Umrah shave your hair, you will get the complete reward. Now if there is no hair apparent, visible at the time of Hajj, and you were to shave your hair, you just get the ustara, the razor, and take it across your skull, and you will still get the full reward. Yes.
How many times you have to run between Safa
Yeah,
and
we're going to
Marwa?
talk about that. Yeah, we're going to do that right now. So now, let's go back, let's rewind a bit. So the person, now we've got the farz and the wajib. Anything other than that is sunnah. Simple. So you know the two farz, you know the 3 wajib. Anything other than that you read about, that is all sunnah. Alright, now, rewind. We pray the 2 rakat. Qul ya al-kafirun. Qul wallahu ahad. I'm wearing the sheets. I have taken a bath. I'm in the state of purity externally, internally, all done. Now I make the niyyah. Now once...
Just be quick. So this 2 rakat, is it in Australia, or is it when you read?
No, there.
Oh, okay.
When you're going to wear the ihram, just before that. So normally what happens is, the route of the plane will determine where you're going to wear the ihram. So many a times there are, for example, this is the noble century. I'm just going to give you if you can depict that, that's the noble century. And there are points known as miqat that were determined by Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, that these certain points a person cannot exceed unless he's in the state of ihram. These certain points. So now if the plane is moving over these points, then the captain will inform the pilgrims and they will wear it, they will make the niyyah, they will wear the ihram before entering. Because if they enter, then there will be a penalty that will be given by these people. So that's not problematic. Announcement is made, you will be well informed by the group leaders. So anyway, these are known as the miqat. So when a person has read the salah, he has established the 2 units, and
What will be the niyat of that salah? Is Salat al-Tawbah?
any bus 2 rakat. 2 rakat nafil. Qul ya al-kafirun qul wallahu ahad. After that, you make the intention. Once you have made the intention, now there are certain things that were permissible that have become non-permissible. One of them for the men is that certain body parts have to be revealed. They can't be covered. Now, for the men, the head should be uncovered. The face should not be covered. Certain parts of the foot should be uncovered as well. So they say this bone that is popping up, this bone, what do we call this bone? Any bone, the top of the foot bone, alright? This bone should be revealed, shouldn't be covered, this part of the bone. So if you get, slippers, or any kind of sandal that allows this part of the foot to be visible, it is fine. Now I will say to the noble brothers that they should try to find a shoe, a slipper or whatever that is very comfortable, because there's a lot of walking to be done. There's a lot of walking to be done. For the sisters, they can wear anything they want, as long as it's not too fashionable, it's not too bright, there's not much glitter, and there's not much attraction in those clothes. So they can wear socks, they can wear Nike, they can wear anything that they want. They don't have to, cover themselves with unstitched clothes. So there's a lot of flexibility, and we understand that this flexibility that has been given to the women, it has been given based upon the high standard that Islam has set in relation to modesty. So when they have to be modest, they can cover themselves as much as they want. Yes.
About the slipper, I've heard from people that sometimes people lose their slipper and they don't use any other slipper. Is it like you just take one slipper and you should not lose it, and if it's broken, you just leave it?
Nothing like that. Look, what happens is, when you do perform Hajj or Umrah, you will find that there will be, if you don't take the slippers with you inside, say bye-bye to them outside. That's my word. If you don't take these slippers with you inside, and you leave them outside, just say bye-bye. You're not going to get them. You're never going to see them again. Because there are so many people. And it is a common understanding amongst the pilgrims, it's all halal. It's a common understanding. Everyone knows it's halal. You left it there, people are going to pick it up. You choose what one you want. So, what I say to the brothers that go from Australia and the sisters, they should have 2 bags. It's a good question you asked. It came to my mind. Most probably I would have touched upon this. You should have 2 bags. 1 bag for your slipper, and 1 bag for the pebbles, for the stones. So always have 2 bags. So the wives, the grandmothers, the mothers, they can stitch 2 bags. 1 bag that you can carry easily, like it has a cord, a string attached to it, that it can hang. You can put your slippers in there. And number 2, have a small bag in which you can collect about 49 to 50 pebbles. Alright? So keep that in mind. That is very, very important. Those men that are overweight, and brothers or sisters that are overweight, try to buy a ointment that does not have a fragrance, like Vaseline. So you can place it between your thighs, especially the men, because you can't wear tights under the ihram, and many a times because of the friction, a a lot of people get rashes between the thighs, and many times you see them walking like this. Because they're in a lot of pain. A lot of pain. It's very, very important. You know, you may be smiling here, but up there you will say, Imam Uzair, thank you very, very much. So you try to buy that best.